guys, and welcome back to my channel. We have my husband Mike here, and we are going to be doing a November TBR jar. I think I've only done this once and I didn't really follow it too well, so hopefully I can stick to this. But Mike is basically going to be picking these little prompts that I have. I don't just have titles this time, I have book prompts out of this jar, and then I'm going to give him some of the books that are within that prompt, or he might be able to pick them out himself, but he might need some help with that. And then he'll pick from those few books within that prompt. And then at the end of this video, I am also going to include my October reading wrap up. I think I only read like 5 books, so I didn't read again too many, so I'm including that in this book. But I'm excited to do. I don't know how many we should do.
I say 4, maybe. Oh,
Dexter.
4, maybe 5.
Yeah, I think I really want to try to stick to it, and maybe I can do a little bit of a reading vlog with some of these, maybe. I don't know. Stick around for my November reading wrap up to see if I stick to this and what I think of the books. But let's go over to the shelf real quick and show, or should we do the prompt? No, you know, we probably should need to show the TBR.
Yeah. And the last time I think I was in a book video was when I was reading. My reading update is I haven't read a book.
Yeah, that's right.
Since then, I got into a reading slump and I got buried and never came out of it. So
yeah, I've been trying to get him out of the reading slump that he is in, but
I don't know how I earned this spot on the book video when I've been a hypocrite.
We haven't had any luck with that. But that's okay. If you're in a reading slump, that's okay. I feel like honestly I'm kind of in one too.
Me too.
I've been really busy, so I haven't been reading as much, but let's look at the TBR.
I'm ready to go.
So here is my physical TBR at the moment. I feel like I don't have too many. It's this shelf right here. And actually this Harry Potter collection, which I've read the first couple when I was really young, but I would like to reread them. So this whole Harry Potter collection is my physical TBR. This whole shelf here, and then we do have, I have read The Hobbit, but I have not read the Lord of the Rings series. So this is basically my TBR now. If you guys want to take a good look, that's kind of the books that we are going to be picking from, and there is a few prompts that kind of may allow me to purchase something, but we'll see what we get. I'm hoping I pull that. All right, he's going to pick the first prompt. How many should we do?
4.
4. Let's do 4. I know
a book a week.
I know some other videos they do like 10 prompts, but I don't read 10 books a month.
Pick number 1 for my bookworms here. It says, a book you haven't heard anyone talk about.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I have a couple that people haven't really talked about. Okay, sorry if the lighting is weird. We're filming this in the afternoon, so we're trying to do some natural light, but I know it's kind of weird. But these are the books that I picked off the shelf. Oh, did that have dust on it? That I feel like I haven't really heard many people talk about.
Me either.
So the first one that we have, do you want to hold them? The first one that we have is the Benevolent Society of Ill-Mannered Ladies. And I picked this up at Barnes & Noble one time just because the cover was so cute. And I definitely think this is historical fiction, which is fun. And I think that there is a little bit of a murder mystery involved. So I just think this would be a fun read all around. So there's that one.
Okay.
The next one is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. I don't know. McConaughey? I don't know. I don't really know much what this one is about other than she befriends some wolves, but I don't think it's like fantasy or anything, but it may be a little creepy. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but it sounded interesting at the time. I've had that like forever. This one I have actually started. I think I got a little bit of a ways in. I was on like page 60. And this is the Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams, and it was really good. It was kind of a slow read, and it was definitely kind of just literary fiction. It was good, but just wasn't piquing my interest at the time, so I decided to pick something else up. But haven't heard anyone talk about that, but there's that one. This is House of Hollow. I haven't heard anyone that I've seen talk about this, but someone commented on my video once and was like, that book's not too creepy, because I was worried. After I bought it, it said, I found out it was kind of within the horror aspect, and I don't really care for horror, but I think I could probably handle this, and the cover is super pretty. Again, I don't really know what this one is about. I would have to like read the cover again, but it's something about like sisters. I don't know if one of them goes missing and they're kind of weird looking and have something supernatural. So I don't know how I would feel about that one. The last one is French Kissing in New York, and Mike did actually pick this book out for me one time when we did like pick a book out for each other when you were in your reading era. And I'm pretty sure this is about kissing in New York. So I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but all right. So what's your pick?
Okay. I'm gonna go with
How did I know you?
this one. I have 3 reasons. Because I bought it, and then she still hasn't read it. And then I really like New York, and I like to kiss. So my 3 reasons on why.
You like to kiss me.
Of course, I like to kiss her. So this is the book. Pick number 1.
All right. I really don't want this. I'm gonna try to read these books, so for sure. Okay, next prompt.
That's gonna be a 5-star.
We need to move faster.
All right,
A
let's go.
5-star. Okay.
We're moving quick.
Okay, that was 1. 3 more.
A title with more than 3 words.
Oh, well, you can pick
A
that.
title more than 3 words.
You don't need me for that. So
I don't need help.
go pick them off the shelf, and then we'll show them what it is.
I'll pick 3.
Do you want to show them the?
Yes.
Just read
so
the
I
title.
picked 4 books. We have The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary.
Which I really love this author. I have read a couple of her books. I really like her. That is a new release. Do you want to tell them what it's about? I don't really know too much of what it's about, but I think she works in like a hotel and she finds someone's wedding ring missing.
It looks like it's going to be a enemy to lovers type of book.
I don't think that that's probably the trope, but I don't know, maybe actually they might be work rivals or something. I don't know, but I love Beth O'Leary.
The next one is Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Hoggins.
I've heard that this one is really sad. I haven't heard too many people talk about it, but I've heard it's really sad. I, again, don't really know. I've had this forever. Something about letters and it being sad. So, a sad book.
The next one is The Bright Side of Disaster by Catherine Center.
I love Catherine Center, and that is like a really short book, so that may be a good one to fit in. I think my mom read this and said she loved it. She loves everything by Catherine Center.
And the last choice is A Curse for True Love. I know Chloe really wants to read this one.
Yes, I do, because this just came out, and it is the last book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which I have mixed feelings about. I like it, but I don't love it like most people, but I really want to. And so I am excited to read that. So
is this the one you just bought?
Yeah.
The new release?
Yeah.
Okay.
So which one do you pick?
I'll be nice, and I'm gonna pick this one.
I would probably read that even if you didn't pick it. So.
Yeah, because she uses this trick on me where she says that all these books are coming out, and then she tells me, I think a couple of times a month, that a new book's coming out and she has to get it. So
well, that's true.
I know this was one of them.
Yep. It's true. I'm not lying.
Okay.
Yay, okay. Two more prompts. These are fun.
All right.
There's a prompt I hope you don't pick.
Okay. The next book in a series.
Oh, that's a good one.
Dang, so I could have used...
You could have used that one too,
okay.
But... all right, we're going to pick from the shelf and come back.
Yeah.
We have 3 books.
3 different books. The first one will be Chasm by... Chasm. By Stacey McEwen.
This is the second book in the Ledge, or not the Ledge. The first book is called Ledge, and this is the Galatian, I think it's called, trilogy. So there will be 3 books. The second one just came out, and I really like this book. Actually, I haven't heard anyone talk about this series, and it's really, really good. It's definitely kind of that fantasy romance, enemies to lovers that people like. So I'm excited to read Chasm.
Okay. This next one, is that the name?
Daisy Hates, yeah.
Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. Hastings.
This one is part of the Magnolia Parks series, and I liked Magnolia Parks, but it's just very heavy, so I haven't moved on, and I really need to. But also, I'm not a big fan of the new covers, and I don't know if she's getting rid of these awesome covers, and I really want to get the rest of the series in these covers. So I'm just having a hard time with this series, but Daisy Hates.
Okay, and the last option is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez.
Yes, and this is a standalone, so it's part of a series, but kind of not, because it's a standalone. You don't have to, what is the first one? The first book was called Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And again, you don't have to read these in order, but they do interconnect. So I kind of picked this off the shelf for a series. So,
okay.
Which one do you pick for me?
I'm gonna pick this one strictly on the best cover. Yeah, this one's lame, so that one's out.
Okay.
It's either between these two.
Those are really cool covers.
I'm gonna go with Chasm.
Yay, I was hoping you would pick this one. I'm just intimidated by that one. But yay, I was gonna read this anyway too. I think this series, this Galatians series, this is the second book and Ledge is the first one. I think this would be a really good series to read this time of year when it starts to get cold because it's based on ice and basically living on an icy mountain. So yay. Okay, one more prompt. All right, last
Here we go. A book that starts with the.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. There's probably quite a few of these books.
There's a lot of these, so we're gonna go quick.
All right, The Fine Print. Still haven't read this series. I really want to. I think there's like 4 maybe. I'm not sure. Y'all have heard about this one. I think it's like about a billionaire family. Each book is about a different brother and they build like a theme park, I think, or something like that.
I don't know.
So there's that one. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I haven't read any, I don't think, Kristen Hanna books, but I really want to, and I've heard great things about. Actually, I've heard mixed things about this book, and it is huge, but I'm trying to read more literary fiction, and I think that actually might be historical fiction, I'm not sure. The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hilderbrand, which I think I've read 1 or 2 of her books, and they're good. Not sure if this would be the best time of year to read this, but I think there might even be like a supernatural aspect to the hotel. Kind of different for her, but sounds good. The Dictionary of Lost Words, again, we talked about this one. The Benevolent Society of Ill-Mannered Ladies, we talked about this one. And The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary, we talked about this one. So,
last pick.
Okay.
Let me take a quick
Why do
last
I
look.
already know what you're gonna pick?
Okay, I ain't gonna pick this one.
Okay. You don't like the cartoon covers, I can tell.
I don't like this. Down to my last 4, 5. I'm gonna go with this one.
Really?
I actually like the cover because it feels very like papery, and I think it's a really cool cover.
I bought this because of the cover. Yay! I'm excited. I've been wanting to read this, and I feel like this time of year, again, would be
It is a cool cover. It feels so weird.
All right, so now I'm just gonna tell you guys quickly the books that we picked again to remind you, so that if you want to look forward to me reading any of these books, these are them. But French Kissing in New York is the first one.
5-star.
I'm not sure about that. The Benevolent Society of Ill-Mannered Ladies. That's a really long title, but I'm very excited to read this one and hopefully can report that it was a really fun read. Chasm by Stacey McEwen. Very excited to continue this and was probably going to get to that in November no matter what. And same with A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I'm very interested to see how I feel because a few people who have given the series like 5 stars didn't love this one. But then there's some people that give it, again, 5 stars. So these are the 4, and hopefully I may be able to get to 1 or 2 more depending on what kind of reading month I have. So I may read more than this. We will see, and hopefully I can stick to these because I am a mood reader. So now I'm going to talk about the books that I read in October pretty quickly since it's only a few of them and this video is getting long. But
my time is over here. Bookworms.
Thank you for helping.
I'm exiting the video.
Thanks for helping. That was fun.
Yeah, it was
I like
fun.
that.
Yeah.
All right. See you.
Way to go.
All right, so the first book that I read for the month of October, which I think I actually finished on October 1st, I kind of already mentioned it, but it is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and this is the first book in the Interconnected Standalone series, and I gave this 4 stars. I feel like romances and sometimes kind of rom-coms, fluffy romances, I really like them when I finish them, but then I just forget about them, never think about them again. So I kind of feel like this about this one, but I did give it 4 stars. Thinking back, maybe it would be like a 3.5 stars just because, again, I haven't really thought of it, but it was a really good read. I liked it at the time, and this is about the female main character and the male main character lead very different lives. She is like a doctor in the city, and he lives in this really small town and like works on a farm, I think. And she ends up breaking down in his town one day, and then it kind of just goes from there, sparks up a romance from there, and then they kind of have to figure out how they want to move forward because they both love the lives that they live, but then they also want to be together. So it's kind of working through that. This book did remind me of the When in Rome, I think it was that one, When in Rome series. It kind of reminded me of that, and I would say I kind of liked her writing. Who is it? Sarah Adams. I think I liked her writing a bit better. This was my first book by Abby Jimenez. I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars, so that should say something. But I did think that Sarah Adams' writing was a little bit funnier, but maybe Abby Jimenez was a little bit more mature, I guess. But if you need like a good romance, I would suggest that one. As far as spice, I can't really remember, but there was definitely like a little bit. I don't think there was too much. All right, the next book that I read in October, because it's kind of spooky season a little bit, I read Misery by Stephen King. I finally got around to this. And what did I rate this? I rated this 2.5 stars. I would maybe give it 3. No, probably 2. And this is because the plot is so good. And we did watch the movie after I finished reading this, and I actually really enjoyed the movie, and I think I enjoyed it because I read the book. They did a pretty good job. There were some differences, but they did a good job. I liked the plot of this book. Very, very interesting. But his writing, I'm not a fan of Stephen King. This is the second book I read by him. Loved the plot, but it is the way he writes, I just am not a fan of. I think it's the way he breaks down chapters. I think it's the way he kind of describes people's internal monologue. I just don't follow. It's not necessarily like how I would write something. Obviously he's very talented and intellectual, but I just find it a bit odd, like his writing style. Of course sometimes his plots are odd, yes, I get that, but that wasn't what bothered me. It was actually like his writing, his formatting, the way he like described people's internal monologues. I just did not like there were things that made no sense, that were not, to me, connected to the story, were never really explained. It was just odd. It was like he was trying to be extra quirky, even though I know he's pretty quirky. But other than that, like, I did like the plot, but it did just lull for me with some of his writing, and I think that's why I gave it a 2.5 stars, because it just really like threw me for a loop. And it was like they would spend chapters talking about something else that doesn't seem very important, and then they'd kind of finally get back to the plot. And I think that's why I didn't like it as much. But if you do want to read a Stephen King book, I do suggest that one, because I read Billy Summers and I did not like that one, but I liked this one a bit more. I think I gave Billy Summers like a 2 star, and this was like a 2.5, I would say, to 3 stars. So I do suggest that one if you want to read Stephen King. But yeah, just still wasn't really one of my favorites. All right, the next book that I read is one, again, I haven't heard anyone talk about. I feel like I've been reading some books that I haven't heard people talk about. But this is Whale Fall by Daniel Kraus. And if you watched my most recent vlog, I kind of talk about this because I was reading this book at the time. But basically, this is about a boy who goes scuba diving and he gets swallowed by a sperm whale. And apparently this book is like scientifically accurate with the way that it is described, and him going through the stomachs, because whales have multiple stomachs, and then him trying to survive that. Very interesting concept, and I gave this one 3 stars. And I would say that's pretty consistent. It was interesting, and the book is written, the chapters are like the PSI that the diver has left, like it goes down in PSI, so there is like a thriller aspect to that. It was good, but I don't know, like there was some points in the book that the author was trying to make that I guess I personally didn't really agree with, so maybe that's why I didn't care for it as much. And it did get a little detailed with some bodily functions of the whale, so if you are easily queasy, I wouldn't suggest this. I kind of didn't mind that, and I did think it was interesting because I've never read anything like that, obviously. And I did do some research after or during I was reading it to look at the other animals that they were talking about, other sea creatures, and it was just so interesting to read about. So if that sounds interesting, again, I do suggest that one, but just go into it knowing that it can be a little bit gory. But I did think it was good. It was definitely like an interesting read. The next book that I read is called The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. Again, haven't heard anyone talk about this one, but I really did like this one. I gave it 4.25 stars. I'm reading my little Goodreads note that I wrote at the time. So I gave it 4.25 stars, and I said it was unique and unlike anything I have read this far. This gave me childhood nostalgia I didn't even know I had. Such a good time of year to read this. I definitely think the fall time and even going into winter is a good time to read this book. It was magical. There was magical realism within this book, which I didn't really know that I would enjoy as much as I did. But it did. These this book reminded me kind of Willy Wonka in the aspect of there is this man that they are looking up to, this author that wrote these childhood books, which also reminded me of the Magic Tree House books. If y'all have read any of those, I was like obsessed with those. But there was this man, he's older now, but he wrote children's books, kind of like the Magic Tree House, like chapter books that like young kids read and loved, and it was like magical realism kind of. And then he owns this island now, and he hasn't written a book in years, and then he decides to write, I guess, like his final book, and he has a contest with it, and he invites people to the island that he lives on. And the characters in the book that go to the island, they grew up loving his books. So it was just a really fun read. There was like a mystery aspect because there were like clues that they had to go through and figure out riddles, and I really liked that. I think they did that really well in this book. It was just, again, another really interesting, unique read, and I definitely suggest there one. There was no spice. Whalefall, there was no spice. I forgot to say that. And in Misery, I don't think there's spice. It's just very gory because he's Stephen King, obviously. But yeah, I really liked that one. That was a very cozy read for sure. The last book that I read in the month of October is How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. And I would say that that's about right. This is a fantasy, and I'm not the biggest fan of the cover, but the cover makes a lot more sense when you read the book. But this did get very spicy at the end, so I will just say that it was like kind of a slow burn, which I liked, and then whenever the characters finally get together and they're like overly spicy, it just loses my interest a little bit. But I did enjoy this one. I do want to continue the series, but it did get a little much for me at the end. There was a bunch of twists at the end. I have heard people say that like the ending just completely caught them off guard, and I was shocked by some of it, but also some of it I wasn't. It wasn't like, I don't know, I didn't get like overly shocked, but some of it I did. It is a really interesting ending, and if you kind of aren't thinking ahead, it definitely will knock you off your feet. I actually really enjoyed kind of the first part of this book when it's in, I guess, like the normal human world. It's kind of like our world, and she is like studying like mushrooms and fungus and other kind of animals and plant life, and I just thought that that was really interesting. And then when she got into the fantasy realm, the fae realm, I don't know why I wasn't as interested for some reason as when she was like in the human realm. I really liked that, maybe because it had to do with plants and animals. It was an interesting concept. She kind of falls into this fairy realm. Yeah, it was good, but definitely not like my favorite fantasy read, but I did like it, and I will continue the series. So those are all the books. I think that was 5 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 books I read for the month of October. I feel like I did okay. I have been slowing down with reading just because I feel like everything's been so busy. So hopefully I can read around that much or a little bit more for November, and hopefully all the books Mike's picked. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it was fun for you, and I hope to see you guys soon and maybe in another book video. Bye.